Second one, figure this up. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Westborough TV all set? Yeah.
All right.
Although Aiden, it's on the big screen and we're little and my initials are big. Is there a way to change that? There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to April's meeting of the Westborough Economic Development Committee. It's a beautiful snowy day out there. We just love New England so much. So today the agenda is fairly light, so I think we should be able to move through things pretty quickly, I think, for the most part. And I do have to read my thing. Do you have it for me to read? I do not.
Did they not give you an agenda?
I think it's on the back
Oh,
side.
it's on the back?
I think it was blank on them.
Yeah, I'm blank on the back. Okay. All right. All right. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, an act enacting certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, this meeting will be conducted in person and via remote means in accordance with applicable law. This means that members of the public body as well as members of the public may access this meeting in person or via virtual means. In-person attendance will be at the location listed at the top of the agenda, and it is possible that some or all members of the public body may attend remotely, with an in-person attendance consisting of members of the public. This may be accessed remotely via Microsoft Teams, and the link is on the agenda. All righty. Perfect. Okay. So today's agenda, we're going to be going through, we're going to talk about the EDC awards. We're going to go through some committee reports, as well as the business assistance grants rubric that we're going to finalize that for qualifications. We will not be having a planning report today. Jenny's not here.
I have a few things
Okay.
that you can.
And then Laura's going to take us home with the planning report and the community development EDC updates and any new business. So that's our agenda for today. Good morning. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So let's start with approving the minutes from March. I need a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes for March 3rd, 2026.
Seconded.
Okay, we don't need to do a roll call because we don't have anyone remotely, right?
Right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Meeting minutes for March 2026 have been approved. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, so let's talk about the, I want to, we sometimes go into the EDC awards with a little bit of a scramble. So I would like not to do that this year. So why don't you talk a little bit about our date? We have the date finalized, the last date in January. So January 29th, 2027. And, Dave and Karen both aren't here. They were both on the committee last year. Is there anyone that would like to be on that committee to help with some of the planning for the awards?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would love to help. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Okay, great. So Aslam, that'd be great. So one of the things that I think we really want to focus on, a couple of things. We obviously want to do the categories, but also our sponsorships. I think we have an opportunity to really grow our sponsorships and grow this footprint of the awards. And if we want to get it back to the heyday, I think we've been talking about the heyday is, large event and just having it be kind of the thing. We've gotten a lot of traction over the last couple of years. The awards have been phenomenal. Way too much food. We definitely have to buckle that down. There was way too much last year. But so I wanted to just get some ideas on what would you like to change? What would you like to add to it? Subtract? Is there any feedback from, I know we have the AAR already, but let's think about moving forward. Anyone have any extra ideas?
The only thing I would say, if I could, Sandy, is that I think it was good to have the previous couple of years we had the community vote. I think it'd be nice to bring that back for one or two of the categories. And now that we have time to plan for this, it'd be easier to do that.
Yeah. Any ideas on the categories for the community vote? Do you have any? So we did we did foodie, right? We did the foodie.
Well, yeah, we've done like a civic or a Hall of Fame or longevity type.
Yep.
So I think those certainly would suit well to a public vote.
Yep. Okay.
Those two anyway. I don't think the other ones, yeah, I mean, certainly the subgroup could talk about doing
Right.
additional ones now that we have some time.
So
But
get that.
put those two
Does the
forward.
community get an opportunity to submit? Because I know we made the list, but does the community get an opportunity to submit what they think? No.
We haven't in the past, but we have time, so we certainly.
I mean, that can lead to a lot of onesies and
It can be-
twosies,
it
but
can lead to a
it
lot of-
still creates some opportunity for
Yeah. I
a
think having-
business we don't think of maybe.
How would we do that, though?
Yeah.
Think about just the logistics of how to
Laura,
like,
can
maybe
you
you
just
just
tip
tip an
that
ad
to-
in the paper.
It's-
I don't know.
Tip that toward.
Yeah, sorry. How would we actually, I mean, these are all good ideas, so we can certainly brainstorm, but then I think the other piece is how do we reach the community in a way that's,
Fair.
and actually gets an outreach.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we start this year with the 2 community votes and see kind of if we get some traction there, and if we start to build that buzz, maybe for the following year, do that. That's just a slow roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, I think if you, rather than just sort of blanket ask for people to submit names, if you had a nomination process that
Yeah.
that required a little more work for someone to submit, you might get not fewer, but
Higher
it just might be
quality.
more focused, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember years ago, I think it was the Westborough newspaper before the Community Advocate, they used to have like a form in there that you could fill out and submit somehow. I don't know if that's still, we could do that in the Community Advocate or, put something on one of the billboards in town.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I think, didn't the community advocate just have a survey on the Rotary in January? So it might be something similar. I could talk to Dave about how that happened and see how we could.
No paper, please. Just
Modify.
links to Google Forms with a simple
QR
data.
code.
It's super easy these days. Don't
Yeah.
need paper.
We do not.
Well, there are a lot of people who don't do QR codes and whatever. And then the other piece to that also is how do you reach them? Because that means then you have to either
Right.
email them or, you know what I'm like, but I get your point. So we don't have to have
Put it
all
on our
the,
website.
Yeah. How about the event itself?
Can I just
yeah,
one
of
last
course.
point on that? I think if we were going to solicit ideas from versus us deciding, it would be obviously date and time, like done by, and then I don't think we should be compelled to like accept those. It's like kind of the message will be those will be considered, because again, you never know what you're going to get
Yeah, that makes
when you
sense.
put that request out there. So that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
okay.
Love it though. Yeah. The more community involvement, the better.
Well, I'll work on some ideas and I'll bring them to the committee to think about how we can actually
Yeah.
navigate this.
Yeah, I think that
Really.
we would need to have pretty clear criteria for people to follow, and then they would have to be required to submit responses to some questions or justification, just again, so you're not getting
You've
sort of
just-
scattershot
Yeah.
names
Yeah.
of businesses.
If I might, so for instance, the Hall of Fame may be a business that has been in town for the last 20, 30 years. I mean, those are the criteria that,
Yeah.
to manager's point, that you could just list what they'd have to have for qualifications.
Yeah. And the civic one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something the subgroup could talk about, maybe come back with some suggestions on that.
Awesome. Okay. Good.
I also really liked the networking aspect earlier, and I don't know if there's a way to promote that, but I met so many people.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
So really just kind of,
I think if we get more sponsors, then the sponsors come, even if it's small dollars. So if you can get lots of sponsors, but even if they're just $25 or $50 or something like that, then those people will usually send a rep, so you'll get a lot more people.
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
What is the purpose of sponsors? I think I know the answer, but
To pay for the event.
to
To help-
fully
help-
okay.
Yeah. So
And-
we're funded by that event is funded by the sponsors.
Okay, and the sponsors we had this year, I don't have that right in front of me. That fully funded the event. Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
And sometimes we have a little bit left over, but in order to if we want to elevate the event, we've got to.
we need more sponsors. Okay. Yeah, I think more sponsors is a great idea. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure of the value to those who attend of like the state level speaker, to be honest with you. I feel like it's such a, like, it's a quick, it's like, I don't know, 7 minutes. I gotta be honest with you. I feel like I'm not sure that that's a highlight. I think we think it's a highlight. I'm just not sure to those who attend it's a highlight. I could be alone on that. Based on the silence in the room, it sounds like I am.
I respectfully, I think that because we don't really think that is that's a highlight, I think, for me, and I think for others, because we don't often get to have someone from the state level come in and talk about the state of what's going on in the entire state. So if we keep it just to our community.
Yeah, I
don't-
think maybe it's the content. Maybe we need to be a little more intentional about the content. I mean, I've seen it vary over the years
Yeah.
where it feels more relevant and impactful. Like, just being really honest, I walked away from this year's speaker and I was kind of like, I mean, lovely person is not a personal thing, but I was sort of like, and so what? Like, it didn't feel actionable. And this is my business hat on. This didn't feel actionable to me at all as a business owner. It didn't feel like, you know, I don't know, resourceful. It fell flat for me.
Yeah, so we
I
can
don't know
look
if
at-
it's helpful, but I'm part of the Retailers Association of Massachusetts. I don't know if something like that,
Yeah.
I don't know how many are retailers, but if we could find something that's a resource that maybe, including, I didn't really, and I still don't leverage it enough.
Sure.
But they're the ones that are speaking on and lobbying on behalf of a lot of businesses. So if we could find somebody that maybe the individual attendees will relate to a little bit more, but it's still
I think
headline interesting.
I think we try to bring someone in from the state economic development committee
Yeah.
to look at it at the state level. But I like that idea of an association like the Massachusetts Restaurant Association, Retail Association, some impact on the economics. So that's something that we can certainly look at as well. So good ideas.
Yeah, and I don't
No,
always
right.
hesitate to
You're good.
come with a and not an idea, but
No, that's good.
while we're creating ideas.
That's what it's all about, right? Awesome. All right, great. Day of, anything else? The networking, Danny says. Anyone else? Day of? Anything? No. All right. We'll keep talking.
Is the room, I love the room,
yeah.
but it's a little small. It's it's cumbersome in terms of the flow for the event.
I think once we
So-
get sponsors, if we really focus on getting sponsors early, then we can make a determination whether we're going to move rooms or not. But for right now,
Yeah.
economically, that's where we are.
It's free. right?
It's free. Yeah. And free is good. But
Yeah, I'll just underscore that free is good. Like, I remember years ago going to a hotel and not being able to sign the contract in time because we didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this committee should spend all its time, focused. I think it's a great event, but I don't think it should take up the majority of what the work of this committee is. So
great. Awesome. All right, cool. So we'll just so Eslam will put you on the committee. We'll talk, Dave and Karen, see if they still want to be on the committee. If not, you're a committee of one. Just kidding. I could have some humor when you look at snow outside in April. It's like, all right. So one of the things that is one of the initiatives that I have for the fall is developing some roundtables. And Shelby, I was going to ask you if you, and this put you on the spot, but looking at doing some business roundtables. So retail roundtables for different retail business owners, manufacturing roundtables for some of the manufacturers in town, and restaurants, I think we talked about as well. And maybe holding some quarterly roundtables for people to get together to network, to Danny's point of view, what's going well in town, what's not, what do they need, and just kind of getting people in town to work together and just connect. That's something that Laura and I talked about 3 months ago, and I wanted to get this committee's thoughts on that idea, and if you guys would be behind that idea to, just start bringing some more communication around what's happening in your industries.
I would find it helpful.
How come?
I mean, just as an
Can you bring
example.
your mic?
Sorry.
That's okay.
As an example, we're trying to always understand what's happening in the economy, and it's very easy to read the economic reports that are 2 months ago. We're trying to understand what's going on now, and just, and then there's always things going on like credit card fees or whatever that might be really relevant, and to share that information. And it's like, hey, I got a new vendor, things like that. I saved a lot of money. So I think there's value if you do it right.
Okay. Anybody else? Thoughts? You always have a thought.
Yeah.
It can't be too often or it'll be a burden. That's the
Yeah, I was thinking quarterly, either every 6 months or quarterly. So just that's why I wanted to kind of bounce the idea around to you.
Does that quasi overlap with the Quarter 9 chamber to a point, or to do something in partnership with that? Because I kind of feel a long time ago I sat on a small networking, or not even networking as much as a round table.
Yeah, they have a business owners roundtable. It's pretty different. I'm looking more industry specific for these business owners to come together, talk about what's going on in the economy, do some networking. I think it would be very different from that particular. I know it's the program
And
you're talking about.
to do something in partnership that would or to involve other groups, I think would be great for outreach. But the one thing I'd say on the chambers, they're very member driven. So I don't know how they feel if, let's just say we were partnering together or something, that whether non-members would be
Yeah, that's true.
welcome.
Yep.
I do think non-members are always welcome. They just pay a higher fee.
Yeah.
So that's how the chamber side works. But so yeah, I sort of always go back to kind of what's the purpose of this committee. And so I just want to see where this lands. So we're all about promoting business development, providing advice to the select board on economic development policy, meet with current businesses and prospective businesses, business CEOs and management teams, work cooperatively with businesses and state agencies to retain and attract new. So I love the idea, and this certainly meets with the meet with.
Yeah. It also informs us as what policies and what things are affecting the businesses in town. So it will be really good information, as well as connecting them for maybe a manufacturer has something that you might need, or so there's different ways of looking at this.
Yeah, there's a lot of cluster development that can happen within this. There's also, I hear a lot about challenges, and I do feel that businesses learn from other businesses really well. So I could bring them a list of here's some resources, but that doesn't necessarily meet the challenges that they have. And this is I mean, the way that Sandy and I talked about it was really a way for local Westborough businesses to connect with others, first of all, and obviously for this committee and for the staff, right, to really know who's behind these businesses as well, because it's very hard sometimes to leave. But it's, I think, really important for the community, the business community, to know each other.
I also think that other towns aren't focusing on this, and this could be a draw for our town, that the economic development committee cares about the type business you're in. You're going to commit to town. You're also going to get support from the other retailers in the area, the other restaurants in the area, and so I think it could be a nice attraction tool as well.
So you suggested retail, restaurant, and manufacturing.
Yeah, I just tossed
spitball.
out. Yes, if that's total spitball.
I think you bring up a good point, though, that we should have one of us at any of these for
Yes.
sure, and we have to have pointed questions that are helpful for us to come back with.
I'm a structure girl.
Yeah,
so
but at
this
least
is-
like two, we want it to be open questions for most people, but like we need these
there's
two
gotta be-
questions answered.
it's got to be a
something like
structure
that.
for sure. Yeah. Is it, you guys good if I pursue, just
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
putting a
I-
structure around that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very good idea. I'm happy to work with you on that, Cindy.
Okay.
I'm happy to work on it too because representing the smaller businesses, this is one of the things I was going to have trouble scaling unless I had help
Okay.
to gather feedback. I mean,
Love it.
Just one or two people trying to do it would be pretty hard.
And I'm thinking about like a fall, September, October, for, maybe we can launch one or two in the fall and then, see how that goes and put the structure around that. Eslam, Danny, any comments, questions? No? Everybody's good? All right, sweet. Thank you. So, committee reports. Yay, business assistance grants. Let's wrap this up, everybody. So, we've been talking about
Champion, Islam,
Thank you.
and Danny.
I'm sorry, that's right, sorry.
All right. So let's go to, where are they? Everyone want to pull those up? Some of the feedback that we got, that we received, the ROI reporting was not to make it a burden on the applicants, but rather to provide us with a simple and consistent way to measure the program impact over time. So the reporting timeline, initial baseline and application, follow up at 12 months. And we just really are looking to estimate the economic impact based on the submitted data, not taxes or anything like that. It's just really for us to make sure that when the money goes out, there's some sort of tracking that has that. Eligibility requirements, new business entering Westborough, existing business expanding, home-based business transitioning into a commercial space was another one that was added. New leases, more than 3 years is preferred. Existing leases, minimum 12 months remaining, a renewal option. And then minimum operating 4 days per week is a business requirement. Private capital, adjust the matching from 75% to 50%, keeping higher contributions as a scoring advantage, not a requirement. The liability section merged into outstanding liabilities and compliance, and relocation should not be scored as a requirement, but rather minimal points if it adds economic value. So if they come downtown and it offers more street, some more walking and things like that. Long-term leases agreed as above. Full-time employee is 30 plus hours a week. The grants are not for payroll, but for projects that enable job creation. I think that's very key. Existing business guidelines. They'll streamline relocation, expansion, and property improvements, signs, facade, code compliance, energy upgrades, things like that. So that is some of the. That is pretty much, and then we also would like to involve the ambassadors for outreach and support. So that was some of the changes that we all got last time. Okay. So, love to get some comments from you all.
I think, John, are you here to talk on this?
John Steinberg, Finance Director. Just to give you a couple comments about my background so you know where I'm coming from with this. I was the assessor here for 10 years, and prior to getting into government and valuation, I had a hotel and retail business for 10 years, operating retail locations in 9 states, and manufacturing facility out of Alston. So the type of investment and return on investment that you're discussing, I'm very, very familiar with. And so I wanted to sort of offer my insight into this relative to the grant program that I've been involved with since, I think since the start of it, and evaluating these projects as well. I think using the term return on investment for what some of these projects are is somewhat I'd say, inaccurate way to measure these things, because many of them are signage and flooring and business improvements
Yeah.
that aren't necessarily going to provide a direct return on investment, certainly not something that's measurable, especially if it's not a but for, and it's just in addition to helping them continue their business operations. Rather, I think what the community, in my perspective, is looking for is just results of. Have them come back and report and show pictures of what they used the money for to show that it was implemented in a way that it was intended. What was there before, what's there now? How did it help them? That type of report back and feedback that avoids the financial impact. So you don't get into public records requests. You don't get into stress about reporting. I can tell you from the assessor's office, people are very reluctant to give financial information, even when they're applying for these things. And you get into a very slippery slope with public records when then these applicants are discussed in a public forum, because if their finances are referenced in a public forum, those then become potential public records. And so any public records that are requested, you really have to tiptoe about how you treat those in any public discussion, whether or not it's just a qualification and a checkbox for review versus discussion within the committee. But I wanted to just offer some insight, and Christy had asked me to comment on it relative to what you're looking for from them and what really is attainable. Even ones where you're adding or expanding services, in the case of some of the ones that we've historically done, where we've added refrigeration units or we've made certain processes within them more efficient, really to enumerate something that came out of that with a small $3,000 or $5,000 contributory factor is virtually impossible. It's doable, but whether or not it's doable at these volumes would be really difficult, especially since these businesses benefit so much from ancillary purchases. They may come in and get something in that refrigerator, but in doing so, you upsell them to 6 other things. So it's impossible to reasonably, I don't want to say impossible, because of course in my world everything's measurable, but really difficult to enumerate and then communicate that in any real time frame. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but those are my insights. Yeah.
I pretty much 100% agree. I do think it would be good to have some surveyable questions that are consistent so that we can have, a pie chart of some kind that says, do you think this helped you in some way, some way? Did it achieve what you were looking for? I don't know what what those exact questions are, but I do think if we should be getting some feedback on a consistent basis that we can show. And I love your idea of pictures.
Yeah, I agree. I think some subjective criteria would be a great idea. And obviously the glass slipper won't fit in all cases, but if you could give them an outline to structure what they're going to present based upon the type of project that it is, would be great. I mean, I think that makes perfect sense, so that you offer some consistency with what you're requesting back. And they can, when they're going through it, look at that outline to know maybe it's photographs as they're going through it when they're improving and what it was before and after, so you can make sure you can capture that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think the criteria, though, that we've talked about remains. So the how long they've been in business. I think we do need to, if they are going to add jobs, this all data that we're
Yeah,
going to
the
want to
grant
know.
criteria I think have been developed and are good. I
Yeah.
think letting them sort of settle and see how it goes once you decide something, I think has always been an important factor.
Yeah, for sure. I like the results of, I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
because KPIs, it's hard. It is hard. I went into Coffee and Pie, got that counter, I went in there the other day. The place was packed. It was like I brought so much joy to my heart, So, things bring me joy. But that's something whenever I go in there, I always think of that and how grateful he was for that. But you can't measure that. A counter.
What is it? Photos, pictures, 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So if we had a before after, that's
Yeah.
probably going to be worth a lot.
Yeah.
And then
Because I think for us, just making sure that people know what this money is going towards, and that it is going to help improve, a business or, your refrigeration, you're right. It's very necessary, but it's not sexy.
Right.
And it's not going to give us a return.
And I think really from what we've heard from the community, I think those photos in and of itself will speak for themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you so much for that.
I'm happy to take a to-do using my friend chat to come up with a recommendation of a survey question, and then I love the idea of pictures.
Yeah.
Just feed it back.
I do too. As far as the criteria is concerned, is everybody good with the criteria piece? 50% instead of 75%?
Yes.
The, I'm a little challenged with the lease again, that more than 3 years. I still have a little bit of I just think it's a long time, and someone getting up and running, they may or may not have a 3-year lease. It might be a year. Some of us are on month to month in our places, so.
Or you're in the last year and you're renegotiating.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
happens.
So,
So the only idea of
Yeah.
the long lease, just to make sure that if we're gonna pay them today and we wanna see the results of this investment, it would take at least a year to know.
Yeah.
So if it's very short term, so maybe you won't be able to see it because maybe you close after 6 months. We need just people have the commitment that
Yeah.
they're gonna stay and they're gonna invest in the business and try their best to keep it successful.
Right.
So 3 years, 2 years, it doesn't matter, but not very short term. This was the main idea. So I agree with you. If you want to drop it down from 3 to 2, that's okay, but not shorter than that. So we make sure that yes, they are coming here to the town and they're gonna stay. It's not I will try and give it shot, stay.
yeah, I
No,
gotcha. Yeah, makes
this is
sense.
like
Could we just,
I agree.
could we tweak it to say something like, the last category is, are you currently in negotiations to extend your lease? Like just something that's telling
yeah.
people. we're
So
in the
if there is an
works.
option to renew, that works fine.
Well, no, I mean, like I can get to the end of my lease, the last 12 months, and not have an extension yet, and
Yeah.
we're negotiating. So that happens a lot with not with large companies. They would
Yeah.
never let that happen to the end, but
Yeah.
that happens a lot with small businesses. So I think we need, to your point, we need to capture give them an out that says, well, I'm intending to stay and I'm working on it, but I'm not there. You can't be out because you're not.
Yeah.
I agree.
Could you have a descriptor in there that says, 2-year lease preferred, or something along those lines, so you're not disqualifying based on that? But I agree with like a month to month, you could leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
and then
I walked
there's-
into a month to month and I'm in year 3 of it. Like I had no intention of leaving, but I didn't have to.
But you
sign.
could,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
you know,
But I'm also not a retailer.
but this is a Westborough centric.
Yeah. Yeah.
So currently, currently what we do is I look at their lease, and I look at the term, and it'll say something along the lines of, somewhere 1 to 5 generally, and then later on in the paragraph, it'll have with options too.
Yeah.
And that's, so are you asking that they'll answer that and not follow up with a copy of the lease? Or are you saying that we'll collect the lease? So, and I only collect I collect only the page that talks about the term. I don't collect the whole lease.
Yeah. Yeah, I think still having that. I think having that documentation would be good,
Can I get a little clarification? So is the intent that the business that applies for a grant has to meet all these criteria before they be accepted for the grant?
I don't, so on the scoring piece, I think that, like with everything, there's certain things that they have to be required. That they're not home based, that they are, that they're here in town.
Can I show
I
my
think that
screen?
one,
gonna say,
I think
could
that
we
one
get-
is a qualifier.
Could we share
Not as-
the,
I'm gonna show my screen.
Yeah, we need to look at it again.
Yeah.
some are definitely criteria of minimum standards to apply, and then the balance of this is really around the rubric
We're around the rubric.
and
yeah.
scoring.
I just suggest that we clarify which is
Yes,
which,
yep,
so.
agree.
Yeah, I think this was a fail.
Yeah, so we had originally how it was sort of broken up, and these eligibility requirements and guidelines are what are currently on our website. They'll just, I think the idea was that we'd expand a few of them out or clarify some of them, but that they're essentially the same originally. So the ones in red are what's being, what's suggesting to be changed. Can everyone see this okay?
Sort of.
Yeah, number 13, again, I'm not at least one day every weekend. I think we got to get rid of that. So it's
Yeah,
4
so
days.
that's the one here, it's here.
Yeah.
Right? For just being open 4 days a week.
Yeah.
This is from January, or,
Yeah, so the 3-year
December,
term, so
so-
number 9, copy of lease, occupied space for not less than 3-year term. I think we need to make that an adjustment there. With a caveat of being in negotiation for renewal, 2-year term or negotiation for whatever the verbiage is. So that's the requirement, Fred. Everything else is on the rubric.
So the idea, if they don't have a lease for 2 years, we wouldn't accept the application? I just,
Right.
we kind of keep going back and forth on this. It just be,
it's
we
on,
need to
right, because
click.
it's on the rubric as well, right? So which,
Yeah, but if you fail, then you don't even get to the rubric.
You don't even get to the rubric.
Right, we're not to the.
So can we move this to the
If
points
you
then?
fail any of these requirements, the intent is not to accept the application. Is that, just to be clear on this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we need to move it to the rubric.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's a valid issue, but if it's too nuanced, like we're talking about month to month,
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna end up getting a lot of exception requests.
so it's keep it on the
On
rubric.
the rubric, but not as a requirement to apply. But I want to get some feedback before we.
I mean, I don't own a business, so I don't know if, I totally understand, but it just seems to me that there should be some like visual commitment to staying in Westborough. And even if you're in negotiations, that doesn't mean that you're going to stay, right? It might not work out.
So could you say with a minimum of 1 year left on your lease?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
more open-ended, but it's at least for a 12-month term past the award.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
at
because
least.
even if you're in negotiations, like maybe you just don't qualify for this round, and then you enter into whatever lease, and then you qualify for the next round.
Yeah, because if it's month or 2 month or short lease or 6 month or whatever, it's their choice, but it doesn't make us in the position to give him the award. Maybe
Right.
some other people qualified for it. So if you are asking for public money, so you have to be qualified. You have to show some commitment. I don't want to see a business asking for money today and closing his door tomorrow.
Right.
So it's our call.
Yeah.
So it has to be, I think it has to be in pass or fail. But if you want to go down from 3 years to 2 years or at least a year, that's okay. But it should be a year from the time he submit the application. It's not just a year, because they can come just before the year ends and say, we want to submit the application. So maybe next year they won't be there. So I think,
I hear you. No,
Yeah.
I definitely hear you for sure.
And
Yeah.
it's only on the existing business? Oh no, here it is in the new business. So on the rubrics. So if they didn't have it, they didn't get the points. That's how it
yes,
was
because
prior.
it's
So
an-
now
it's
we're,
a new business. But for existing business, they already have a lease.
Yeah,
So
right, yeah,
but this
this
one-
lease, even if still there a year or there is a renewal,
this is
so it's
assigned
a
to a
different game.
long-term lease or remaining or extendable or owns the property.
Mike.
I mean, I still think you're gonna get businesses that are gonna be within their last year who are looking to decide whether to stay and invest or leave. And
Then that's-
those. I just don't know how many of those,
But
how
this
many
is
of that,
for-
what percentage of it
It's
is.
only for the
And that's to Chrissy's
new
point. If they
business.
leave,
Right, they could leave.
They
and
could
that's
leave.
our tax
Yeah, I mean,
dollars.
I don't know if what you're saying is that if they don't get the grant, then they might have to leave.
I mean,
I mean, I'm not sure that our
significant.
amounts are high enough for that.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, that's
The
a
other,
problem.
the other thing we might think about for the future, not right now, is if we want to use any portion of grant funding for like more incubator opportunities, that might be the shorter term leases,
yeah.
that might be an opportunity to say, we really want to create, like, I think about like Craft Lab, and I think about I just had another one that,
There's a lot of them.
what,
There's a lot of those out there.
you know, that
Like the little piggy, like the pop-up.
the
store.
pop-up,
Yeah,
right, when
yeah,
Hugo
yeah.
House Books did their
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that could be a whole other thing where this lease thing gets
Yeah.
sort of filtered out at a with a less than commitment. But I like your commitment of that there's 12 months remaining on the lease at the time of the application. I think that just covers it.
I also think that there hasn't been any instances in the 3-4 years that this has been out that a company has just left. I mean,
Yeah, we have.
this is, they've gone
not
out of
many.
business, but
Not
they,
many.
Not many, not many.
yeah. I mean, no one, you know what I'm saying? So this is a very, you're
Yeah.
talking it very, you're talking it out, and yet it actually, in actuality, it's not a big, it hasn't been a big concern.
So do we want to agree on at least 1 year left of the lease, or do we want to go with 2 years and call it a day?
I think most of the people here in favor of 12 month
Okay.
valid. So if we all agree, let's do it.
And then I think we have a discussion if someone comes in, you know, in this regard, we have the
Leaving it on
ability,
the rubric.
we have the ability to be.
So it's
Well, they
points
can
or no
apply later,
points.
after they have a lease.
Yeah.
They
Wait,
can
so
for
is
another
it-
round.
Is it going to stay in the rubric, or is it going to go to a qualifier?
I think it should be part of a qualifier. I think one of
what you're
the
saying.
I think one of the reasons that we revisit this program just about annually at this point is because there's too much sort of feeling that that things aren't like concrete.
Yeah.
And so I think we should have very clear criteria. And if we're finding that we're not getting businesses
Then we can
applying,
revisit
then we need to revisit that
So
criteria.
let's
but-
track this, how many get filtered out because of this. If it's zero, then it won't matter.
I don't think that we should encourage Lara, who's out there, or other ambassadors to say, oh, you could just apply. We might make an exception, because I
Right.
do think that we're trying to make it a lot more clear.
Runs down the slippery slope.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna remove it from the rubric?
No.
So we're gonna give them points if they have more than 2 years
You
or
keep the
3
points there, yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But here you have to, in order to apply,
To
you need to
qualify.
have at least a 1 year. Okay,
1 year left upon application.
got it.
Yeah, yeah. And then we keep it in the rubric that they get more points for if they have a longer lease.
So,
Yep.
if I may, can we just clean this up so we understand what's supposed to be pass and fail and what's supposed to be the rubrics? So we can kind of button this up, so there's no
Yep.
kind of a
Yeah.
like discrepancy of what we're supposed to be looking at.
So let's just take them one by one. I've got also the website up just to see if we're aligned. Can someone just read them? Like,
Can't see
What-
anything.
The website's gonna get modified to.
no,
match
I understand
the-
that. I
Yeah.
just don't want to assume.
Okay, so applicants must be this is for new business. Applicants must be for profit business seeking to do one or more of the following: establish a new location in Westborough, including creation of a new business or relocation of an existing business currently within or outside of Westborough. Outside is not a good word, so let's keep it within.
Well, that's the relo. That didn't make sense to me, right? So it's relocation of an existing business.
Within Westborough.
No, because they could be looking
Oh, coming
to
from
move
inside.
here.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Gotcha.
what- yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's early.
I know.
And
Should it say within or to West?
yeah, because
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does
yeah.
a little bit confusing. Yeah.
Thank you for validating my confusion. Okay. Number 2, expand an existing location in Westborough, which for the purpose of this program shall mean an increase of a business's gross floor area, so square foot maybe, of 10% or more, which increases floor area shall be open to the general public, i.e. not used for warehouse storage, back office utilities, etc.
Can I
So,
back up on
yeah.
this one and the next one? Because
Thank you.
if we're doing new business, this doesn't belong at all.
Correct.
Because you're expanding existing.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Shouldn't be there.
neither the second or third one.
I think when these were first made,
No, it's one of the
I
following.
think they had only one. See, I
It
don't,
it
I
does
don't
say
remember.
one or more
It
of
says
the
one of
following.
the following, so it's
Yeah.
giving you different scenarios.
Well, I mean, I think,
But again, is this a minimum criteria? Is this a to participate or
This is a new business, so
no,
expanding.
No, no.
Or is this a scoring question?
Well, do we have to separate the new business from an existing business? Do we have to, if the criteria, maybe I'm wrong, but
Yep.
can we just make the criteria for both?
Well, I think you're just,
No?
well, it just seems like if the idea is pass fail, if you're a new business, you're going to fail on having being an existing business. You know what I mean? So I think that
Right.
that's where there's like a nuance, but
So-
so you'd establish a new location in Westborough.
Yeah,
So
Why
then
would you
would
fail?
have the first requirement.
just the first requirement.
So, yeah, I think
The red ones are
I think
sub.
5, 6, and 7, 5, 6, and 7 really are one question.
It's
They are.
Yeah.
It's one or more
Yeah,
following.
it's one of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
following, and then the three
yeah, one of
red.
the following.
It just
So-
looks weird up here because
Yes.
it's in a spreadsheet.
Yes, so
Yeah.
six,
Gotcha, yeah.
6, 7, and 8 is under number 5.
Right.
So if you
Right.
meet one of them, that's you are
Right.
qualified.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
isn't 6 just inherent to the program itself?
I think the clearer we are with the criteria. Yeah, I think
So
the clearer we
I think
are.
the first one is your new business. Yes, you are, and we got to take out that, or your new business,
Just big,
or relocating an existing business from elsewhere.
yeah, to
The
Westborough.
next two really talk about expansion of existing businesses, one in gross square footage, the other
And then
is in
merchandising
services or
equipment, yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You-
So
you're
then
losing
this-
me. How does this become a new business?
So
No, it's, they're a requirement and eligibility that'll be on the website. So as a new or existing business, you need
Well,
to
that's my
comply
point.
with one, two, or three.
Well, so then we don't title it just new business.
Right,
then.
we're gonna-
Right, that's
No,
the point. Number
right.
2 shouldn't be here with the
It's
word
just
existing,
weird because of the way it was
'cause that
originally,
would be an existing business.
this is,
I know what you're saying.
So basically, line 1 should be new or existing business.
right, because it's on the
Can
website
you
for
just-
any eligibility.
Right.
But the way that it was originally, this is,
Okay.
by the way, this has
We're in
not been
we're in
touched since
semantic land right
December.
now. We're just in semantic land. So this is for new and existing. We're just going to keep going for new and existing
'cause there's-
criteria.
there's
We're
another-
going to retitle it business
Right.
and have this be one criteria.
Now, having said that, what happens if the project's like for a sign?
That's an existing business for an existing
But-
business, or
But that's,
That's captured by
Well,
the
that's
third
be-
red
yeah,
point.
It's there, the third
merchandising,
one.
furniture, signs or facade improvements.
That could be for either a new business
Yeah.
coming to town, existing business elsewhere coming to town, or an existing business that says, I want to update.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just just to be, we're just going to change this to business requirements and call it.
Correct, right, because it's going to be on the website, not on a spreadsheet.
Right.
It's just that these two tabs
We're good.
have the rubric lower,
Yeah.
and the rubrics are different.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Applicants must occupy a physical space in a commercial establishment, i.e. restaurant, retail, service, office, etc. Applicant must provide a copy of lease that evidences the applicant's right to occupy the subject space for not less than a 1-year term at 12-month term at the time of application. No less than.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody good with that? Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then we're going to track that pretty carefully to make sure that we don't miss what Mike and I have been talking about. Applicants must provide a description of the business and the principal's business experience and demonstrate that the applicant has the financial ability to achieve, successful long-term operations at the new or existing location.
Yeah, this one to me is very subjective.
Yeah.
This gets to what John had shared, and so I don't think that this is a pass-fail requirement. Because think of it, it's like, let's say it's a new business, someone has no experience, but they got a great business plan, they got some financial backing, they want to come here. This would be a
I think
minimum.
I would agree because on the rubric, we're looking at a 50% match.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to have this as a requirement
I think-
because that will be, you got to show your taxes or whatever the case may be. So I'm not sure.
I mean,
Sharing the financials like John was saying earlier that would,
I mean, you could just, yeah.
I don't,
This is the old one. I
Yeah.
didn't do anything to it.
yeah, so let's, I
I
think,
mean, outstanding any government liens or taxes or anything like that, it's a red flag.
yeah, I think they have to have
Because if you can't pay the
compliance.
Well-
taxes-
Well, we're not
I
going to
think
look it up.
that's-
It's.
I think
people
that's
submit
further
it.
down though. I think this one, the way it's described is very like, it's not concrete. It's not a yes or no. I mean, who's to say, I mean, again, principal's business experience. If someone was an entrepreneur and they came and they want to, have a food truck business, I don't know, and they feel like they can make it work. It's probably a bad example because it's not a commercial space.
Well, this
sorry.
is, you're asking whether, first of all, it's the property. So the business itself may not be actually tied to the property. The other piece to this is, again,
No, I'm
combining 11
no,
and 12
no,
right
no.
now.
oh, pardon
Yeah,
me.
I'm
Which one?
talking about number 11.
Number 11.
Number
yeah.
11 to me should not be a minimum criteria to participate.
Yeah.
If we want to capture some elements of that in the rubric later, which I think we do,
Yeah,
it's part of someone's presentation, it's a confidence that they have a clue of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to be taken out because I don't know how we would say,
I don't know how we'd measure that.
Exactly.
And having them share their financials, I mean, if part of the criteria
They've gotta
is
match it,
they've got to
so-
match it.
right.
I think number 12 is important. They've got to be legal. So we got to make sure that they're registered with the town or
Right.
if they have a certificate of compliance or whatever the case may be, I think.
But it's not the property, it's the business.
Correct.
Right.
Oh yeah, change that.
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. It's a business. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Everyone good so far?
I would just take out that part where it talks about the applicant must work with the town. That's like a future looking thing. We know that they have to comply with that. It's not, as an applicant is coming forward, that's not what's the word I'm looking for? A requirement to participate. Like it's like, because they don't know, that's going to be like a downstream requirement.
Yeah. They have to have the permits and they got to have the approval. So, yeah.
Right. They must,
Yeah. Just
Wait,
like that.
can I ask a clarifying question on that? Because if I ask for a grant for the sign,
yeah.
I haven't gone necessarily to get the permit yet.
Correct.
No, but you might need to,
backwards.
you might need to have a change of occupant, right? Maybe you moved in and you didn't let the town know that you were moving in. Maybe you don't have a DBA, so I think it's to that
I
piece.
think
Yeah, I
with
just
your-
want to be careful about
yeah,
what we say.
I think with
because-
your point, if someone's applying for a sign and hasn't gotten it approved by the design review, when we give the grant, that's the caveat upon approval. I think
yeah,
that's
they can't build it.
I think it's after the fact. Thank you. I was not saying
Yeah.
that. So I think this should be that that the business must not have any outstanding governmental liens or outstanding local taxes, period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Just as a way of a question, I'm not, and I don't know if John's listening at all, but I'm not sure how we check that. So for instance, when we do a
Oh, we
building.
know it. John would know. Sorry, Fred.
Well, yes, but if, with a building permit or other types of permitting, we run it through the treasurer's office.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, somebody applies and there's no permitting required.
Don't you have to register with the town?
Sorry?
You have to register with the town and to LLC, you've got to register with the state?
No, well, yeah, if they register with the state, but I don't think it goes through the treasurer's office. If they're doing a DBA through the clerk's requirements, they're supposed,
Yeah.
no, I shouldn't say that. I don't know the requirements that they do DBAs, but I don't know when it's actually legally required. And even with the DBA, we don't check their tax status, as far as I know.
Is
So-
this just you're asking them to be honest?
Well, they should have some level,
Yeah.
some certificate of tax compliance.
You have
that They
to.
have to. I mean, we do that all the time when we contract with anyone. They
Yeah.
have to fill out a certificate of tax compliance that
John-
they.
John?
Yeah, I mean, there's a process where businesses
I don't
have
even
to
know what that is.
register.
He's a town.
You register your business. Now, they might not know they have to, and so this might be a question. I think I'm in,
Yeah,
like,
we come across this all the time. The clerk sends me the DBAs for the month.
Yep.
Right? Not every business is on it. There's also businesses that never do a change of occupant.
But I don't,
or things
I
like
don't
that, but-
believe, and I could be wrong, the clerk's not here, I don't want to speak for her. I don't know that we check tax status when we do a DBA.
No, we don't.
we
I mean, I
don't.
don't think so, but it's,
Okay.
But but doesn't every business have to register with the state?
but we're not talking about
I
taxes.
guess is my answer. There's lots of different scenarios, especially if they're incorporated
Okay.
versus a DBA, as to whether or not they have to register with the town and the state. And you would be right, you couldn't say any government tax lien or status because you never know if they've paid their federal government. So maybe this is a language thing relative to outstanding taxes with the town
Yes.
as an individual. You know, if they have personal property or they're an existing business, that's one thing. If they're a new business, you might have no way of knowing. So
I think what
maybe
we
get-
want to eliminate is an existing business coming forward asking for grant money if they have outstanding taxes with the town.
right, but Christie,
Right.
relative to what Christie was saying and certificate of tax compliance, there are ways that they can either attest to it and have it notarized or some form of representation such that they are reflecting it depending on their type of corporation and their type of business.
Yeah.
That's not a step too far. At the very least, like many things in life, they are signing in a way that they are attesting to the fact. And yes, you have to take them at their word in some ways, but the more formalized you make it, the heavier it weighs. So,
Well, I have to believe that as part of the evaluation, so we get the application, if there's a business that has outstanding taxes,
We're gonna know it.
won't we catch it as part of our review?
I think that they should be required to submit. Like they should be required to submit something from our treasurer's office that says that they're
Yeah.
in good standing, and they should also fill out a certificate of tax compliance, which is like half a page, where they attest to whether or not they're in good standing with their taxes.
So I can get the treasurer, I get
Yeah.
the other form.
You could give them as part of the application. We have it for all of our contractors.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
right.
So
yeah.
let's clean that up.
Okay, I like that.
Not
We
to
already
be
have a
picky
form.
on that one, but is it checking the property owner as opposed to the business owner?
No, it's the business.
this
the
would be the
business.
business
It has
owner,
to
or
be.
the
Okay,
applicant.
we'll check the business.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming
Always Barbara
today.
John's here.
All right, so we're gonna do businesses must be open for business. We're taking out the one day of the weekend. Businesses must demonstrate the ability to open within a defined.
Hold on, sorry. If I may, is that just 4 days? It's not going to be Monday through Friday?
Just 4 days.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Businesses must demonstrate the ability to open with a defined time frame, 90 to 120 days after grant approval. I think that's really important because sometimes we've gotten people that have come in here just at the get-go and they're like, we might be opening, we're still waiting for permits. So I think that's, everybody agree with that?
So on that one, if I may, so we wouldn't distribute funds until at least they've opened? And
Wouldn't
if
even
they,
approve, I think they would come in that grant round when they were
Right.
coming in, when they're about to open. Like the liquor store, for example, they came in and they were not even close to getting open. So we want to make sure that they're close to getting open within 90 to 120 days for a new business. So if you're a year out of opening and you come and you apply for a grant,
Yeah.
especially for the dollars.
but
that we're
how,
giving-
so again, I hate to be the devil's advocate, but I want to make sure because staff's got to check this, Lara. So applicant comes in and says, yes, I'm going to be open in 90 days. They come to the committee. And in fact, they haven't opened yet. We wouldn't dispense the funds until they open or 90 days passes, and then we don't dispense it.
No, I would say 90 days before.
Well, what Fred is saying is how do we test that?
Right. How do we, so do we wait until do we hold the application?
I would say we hold the application until they're closer to the opening date. That,
Yeah, we can approve it, but we hold the fund until we make sure that they are ready to open.
Well, that's, I guess, my point. If they say they're going to be open in 90 days, 120 days,
yeah.
they come to the committee grants or gives them a grant.
Yep.
Blair would then have to wait until they actually
Yeah,
open.
until they-
And if 120 days hits, and they haven't opened, we rescind the option. We
They know
wouldn't,
what you're saying.
I just want to be clear
Yeah.
how we operate.
I mean, they also have to have some sort of invoice that's already been paid, right? That we don't
Yeah,
give the
depending on
grant
what
out
it
until
is.
something's been paid.
Or revenue.
But they,
No,
to be
it's-
key,
they
they
pay
have to
something.
have open, otherwise we're not going to distribute the funds.
Right.
Okay.
So
So it's from open then? Because they, or is
Well,
it
they have
from
to
when they
open
paid
within-
Within
for their
90
bill?
Well, 120 days of asking
so
for
they
the
can
You
come
grant.
to
just
us-
say their grants distributed upon successful opening as an additional sentence.
Well, I'm not sure about that because if they're going to give us an invoice, like if they're 90 days out and they're putting their
Yeah.
signs up like a month
Seems
beforehand,
reasonable.
you know, and they're opening, I think we give them their funds. I say pay them.
We don't, the way this is stated, we don't give them funds unless they open within 120 days of approval.
can I just ask it like a backup question on this? How many new businesses, because this doesn't really apply to, probably is unlikely to apply to a relo of an existing business. How many new businesses are coming, have zero footprint and are dependent upon this grant for part of their opening expense? Like absolutely dependent.
I think the amount of money,
I'm at,
zero.
I don't think, I mean, in my time here, we've had no one in that scenario.
so, go ahead, Mike, sorry.
No, zero new businesses.
No, no one who is dependent on our money to open.
Like it was a great to have, this is really going to help us
Correct.
Yeah.
to as part of to defray expenses I already would have incurred
Yes.
Yeah.
to open the business. So
Yes.
that's kind of where I was going of, again, we're still in the minimum criteria to apply. To me, this doesn't even belong there.
I'm not sure, but I recall there was a business, a barber shop. He came here and he wasn't open yet, and he depend 100% on the grant to be open. So the case is valid.
Okay. It is valid. Okay.
No, he had a sign. No. Taurus Barbershop had a lease. He had already bought everything. He had paid for everything, and he was opening.
But he didn't open yet when he come here.
Maybe only by a week or something. Because
Yeah, so it's still valid. So
Okay, so-
he came before even they opened the business.
yeah, but
I'm
he
not
had.
opposed to it. I just want to be clear that if the business doesn't open within 120 days
Yeah.
of the grant, we don't give them the grant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'd have to wait till they open.
Till they open, yeah.
Right.
He
So
was open when
Okay.
we gave him the
That's fine. I mean, and that scenario may never come up.
Right.
I just want to be
Yeah.
clear on how
So
we're
are you
gonna
asking just for a
implement that.
line that says grant will be distributed after opening at the end of that sentence?
I think that's part of an explanation of further that doesn't belong here, that is part of approved, kind of the process. That's
Yeah.
more of a process question or, but yes, we need to make sure it's in there.
Grant. Go talk to Laura about how it works.
Yeah, well, and I think we should just must be demonstrate the ability to open within, and I would say 120 days. Don't put 90 to 120 days.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, just.
It's a maximum, right?
Yeah, it's a
There's
maximum.
No sense of saying 90,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So again, are we just asking people to attest to this? Because how does the team prove this?
So somebody would have to come in and claim that they're going to open within 120 days, but in reality, if they don't, they wouldn't be distributed
Right.
the funds.
Right.
So if they open the
they're
day after
attesting.
they,
You're asking them to attest that
Yeah.
they will open within 20 days.
on the
120
first
days.
part of it, but we'd have to
Right.
prove that out.
Yeah.
But they'd have to be open within the
I'm just
120.
trying to make it easy for the staff
Sure.
to be able to look
Right.
through this. If
No, it's a good
you're asking them to attest, or do they have to show you another document that they're going to open?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, you can just take it for you're kind of judging them on their word that they
I think
say.
you just have them
But we
attest.
also have building permits and change of occupant. I mean, it's not like we're
Yeah.
not in a,
not like an
we're in a
idea.
very, we're, the way that the town structures this, staff, this position is that I'm closely aligned with, I'm in the building department's office, right? So we know something is going on, either a change of occupant or a building permit, right?
All right.
We'll figure it out. I just want
Yeah,
to make
just-
sure that everybody's clear that
Yep.
we wouldn't
Okay.
It's
distribute.
not like
the
we don't
funds.
revisit this every year.
No, we're not doing it again.
Let's
Trying to
hope
get
we don't
Christy
do
to
that
laugh,
again.
but I didn't get much out of her. Private capital leverage, at least matching funds for the grant.
Isn't that just a criteria? So that
criteria.
would come out. That would not be here.
That's part of the rubrics,
Part
correct?
of the rubric, yeah. Business has no outstanding tax liabilities. I think we covered that
We
up
covered
top.
that above,
Yes.
didn't we?
Yep. And business must open to the public and provide direct services. No online only or home-based businesses. are
Didn't we
eligible.
cover that above too?
I don't think
Yeah,
we
we
did.
did with the 4 to 5 days.
No.
No.
Sorry, because we
No.
said it says,
I don't think so. I think that one we need to be clear. I think that
Yeah.
deserves its own line. I really do.
It came up with actually the gentleman that was going to have
Yeah.
equipment, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's kind of a gray area that it'd be nice to kind of get rid of the gray
Yeah.
area on
Yeah.
that particular
Sure.
gun.
Yeah.
Same
Okay.
way with the home
All right.
occupation.
So we have the minimum criteria set. Great job.
Nice job.
hey, we knew it was going to take a while.
Awesome.
It's good.
Um,
Thank you for the effort, everybody.
so
in-
thank you guys. Yeah.
Not to keep
Fred.
beating this, but I want to make sure we're clear on this. So if Lara takes in an application, review it as staff, if it doesn't meet the minimums, it's not brought to the committee.
Correct.
Correct.
And there's no appeal process, none of that, right? They either meet it or they don't.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And
They can apply
if-
again.
I do
They can apply again when they meet it.
Sure.
I do think it would be helpful as part of your reporting to, or data collection, to number of applicants, right, received,
Who made it in?
who didn't make it past the gauntlet, the first, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the committee needs to know what the name of the business is, why, so on and so forth. You're just sort of keeping that information as part of a process so that
We know if we need
when
to
we
make adjustments.
reevaluate this, you can be like, hey, actually,
We have
there were
that.
4 businesses that never came back, or whatever the.
I agree. Yep. So just collecting the data. Awesome. So we don't have a meeting in July, so this is going to be for the August meeting that we have. This is going to kick off for the first grant round in August. Everybody
I just had
good?
a question. I wasn't at the last meeting, so I know we've talked in the past about it wouldn't necessarily be part of any of rubrics or eligibility, but just in terms of how we operate the program, being very clear. Maybe I just keep talking about it. Maybe being very clear about the amount of money that's available per quarter and not going above that, and then also having very specific deadlines for each one. So I just didn't
Yeah,
know.
so we talked at our last meeting, we did not do any grant rounds right now. We're starting July 1st.
Okay.
So the new fund, so we're going to be on the fiscal year and not in that little wonky space. So we're starting off the year July 1st with the 60,000, and then each quarter will be that 20,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we took the time to
15,000.
do the rubric and the eligibility
Yep.
in this time frame to kick it off for July 1st,
Okay.
the fiscal year.
But I think to Christie's point is that if you received 8 applications and
20
you
grand.
wanted to fund all of them, you could only go up to 15,000 for that quarter.
Right.
I
Yep.
think that's your
Yeah, that's
point.
what I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what we all decided. We're just going to keep it clean and easy. This is what we're doing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Right now, the business grant application, when you click on it from our website, it takes you to Permit Pro. And then you have to find it on the left-hand side. You click on it, and then you have to fill out a form.
That's the application. That'll be updated.
Okay, so let's make sure that that's working, because I was just doing some testing and I submitted one and I never got a response.
Did you submit it?
Yeah.
Okay,
When?
we'll take a look at the
Just
back.
now?
No, a while ago.
You submitted an application?
Not an application. I wanted a copy of the grant form because I wanted to see, because you can't see the application form.
Oh, you mean you sent me an email and I never responded?
Yeah. And I'm not trying to call you out on that. I'm just saying I was trying to as we
I
were
don't think-
doing this process, I was like, oh, well, if I'm an applicant,
Oh, I know
how would
why.
I see
Yeah.
the application form, like to see if I would even be interested in applying other than what's on the town's website. And so I said, oh, I'll just submit to get the form, and I never got it. So I don't know where that goes. Let's just make sure that as we get ready for August, that that's working. So,
I'll check on that.
yeah, no, and it's okay. Again, it's just, I wasn't really
I
trying
mean,
to
it
apply
should
to
have
be
just
clear.
gone to an email to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll just look at it.
Yeah,
look at it.
technical
So let's just
issue.
make sure that you're getting those is really where it was going.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I will point out that there's transitioning with permit process. Sometimes the updates are going to be slow, very slow. We're working on that.
Yep. Okay. Well, and to me, I don't know why we can't just have the application like to view right on our page.
I could probably just do that now.
but
That's fine.
do you-
I don't know. That was something that was there before, and I just didn't make any changes other than change my email address.
Yeah.
But I can create it so that you just link to the PDF.
Yeah, and I think it's great, Laura, that it comes through a process, so you get flagged because it's an intro to a business. So I think that works, but somewhere I think that they should be directed to you, absolutely. But if someone just wants some basic information, they should be able to see it somewhere. That's all. Okay.
Maybe even having just a sample application, like what it looks.
Yeah, I'll just create
Yeah,
the
yeah,
PDF. It's,
That's all. I just want to make sure as we're doing this process and we're getting ready for August.
Just a quick question before we leave the pass or fail criteria. So we talked about before about the matching the grant. So we took it off from here. That mean we agree that the grant will fund maybe 100% of this project, and the business owner won't contribute with anything.
I think on the rubric, we moved it from 75% to 50%. They won't.
Yeah,
get
but
the
it's still a point.
Oh, no, you know.
So
they
he could get the point without making any contribution. So what we did, we put it in pass or fail. This is what I did, because if you are not willing to pay
Yeah.
any money of this project, so I don't think the town should cover all your expenses.
Right.
Here you get extra point for having more contribution.
Gotcha.
But so you will be more qualified over other business, but
So maybe
to be
instead of
qualified
that, maybe
itself.
that
It needs to go
financial
back in.
piece is now going to be, you're going to match at least 50%.
Yes,
And
I
that'd
think
be a
Should go
pass
back.
fail.
It's like an
fair.
attest. You attest that you will match.
50%.
Right. If your project is 10,000, so you are only looking for 5,000.
Yeah.
But if it's 5,000, you are not looking for the whole 5,000 from the town.
Yeah.
So when we apply for grants that require matching funds just through the state, we have to identify the cost of the full project, how much we intend to contribute for matching funds, and what the source is of that funding, which obviously is a little bit different for a town, but just sort of having them identify exactly how much they're spending on the project, I
Yeah.
think is.
So we put
Maybe
it-
I can change the application because they do have to put in what the list of
Yeah.
the costs. And then we could add the question in. How much are you, I think it does, there is a question, how much are you asking for?
So yeah, you just do the quick math. Yeah, I think that's fine.
But I think in the criteria, we need to put back in, company will match at least 50% of the project in the criteria, and that'll be a pass fail.
Yep.
And that if they do 75%, then it's more points or whatever, but they've got to be able to match it. Is that what you're saying, Aslan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is exactly, yeah.
Well, so that just comes out in the application, really. If they apply for $5,000 and the sign's $5,000, we'd only give them 2,500. I mean, that's one way of looking at that. You'd only approve 2,500 if they're saying the sign is 5,000.
Yeah.
It's not really a pass and fail. You wouldn't give them the full 5,000.
Yeah,
well, you're not
they
wasting
have-
everybody's time in case they.
Yeah, and
They
they,
need the whole thing
they
covered.
should know that they're gonna pay the 50% before even they come here. If they don't agree on that, so-
That's fine, but that would be the.
Yeah.
That's something that Larry you can put it in there that it have to be a 50%
Yeah.
match.
I think that should be a criteria, so that you're right, it informs people that, this isn't going to be free money. You're going to have to do a
That's,
match.
I don't think it's really a pass fail though. It's just that's what you would do,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. In other words, if somebody applies for something for $2,000, this committee wouldn't fund the 2,000. They'd only fund 1,000
Yeah, I mean,
at maximum.
I think it just needs to be, to me, it's not a pass fail. I think it's very important, but to me, it's when the person is looking at the application, it's like the applicant understands they are responsible for, 50%, a minimum of 50% contribution. Additional value may be assessed you know, whatever, if we're saying if it's 75%, right? Because if it's a higher amount,
Right.
So
right?
you're
And
saying-
grants are up to a maximum of 5,000.
So you're saying it should be in the instructions to the applicant,
Yes.
Yeah.
essentially, versus whether it's a pass-fail. So
Correct.
I haven't seen the instructions, so that's why I
Yeah.
think maybe
Yeah,
we've
I
had
mean,
that before.
Yeah,
so-
it's gonna be like more discussion about that, but I think if the applicant already agreed to pay 50%, he already, if he said that I can't match the grant, so he's not qualified. Instead of he come here and we say, yeah, your project cost 5,000, so we'll give you only 2,500. I think if he's not able to pay the other 2,500, so he's not qualified from the first. So I mean,
Yeah.
we're trying to get the gray area out and make it very straightforward. We don't have to have too many opinion about the same thing. This is my point of view.
Yeah. So put it in as the applicant understands, must match a minimum of 50%
Of the
Yeah.
ask.
of the,
Like it is there.
okay,
You
yeah.
would, you would say it
Can't-
the other way, the town would fund no more than up to 50%,
Exactly.
you know, $5,000.
Yeah,
50%.
but upon application, I think, so again, for me, I agree, just for clarity. It's kind of like the home-based business, like, let's just be really clear. If you don't have $2,500 to kick into your project, well, A, you should be thinking about maybe getting a
I'll
job.
be up to that.
But B, so anyway. Good?
Okay.
Pretty good?
Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, I think we need to move on. I said we had a light agenda. I guess I lied. So, but good,
Working sessions always take more
they're
time.
fun, yeah. But thank you guys very much. I'm really excited to finally kind of put this to bed. And Eslam and Danny, thank you so
Yes,
much. And
thank
to the
you.
rest of the committee for just all the feedback and discussion. So good.
So do we have further work to do as a committee as it relates to the instructions or the rubric or anything else?
I think we'll get you and I can finish up the whole packet with the instructions, send it out just for review. And I think that'll be,
Yeah, I think the only thing we should start working on the question we're gonna ask the business to get the response for the ROI we are looking for. Easy question, yes or no, or stuff like that. Very, very like the survey question. Once we
The
have
survey
it ready,
questions.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is the only thing I think.
for
This is the only
the,
part.
what was it called again? The results of the grant.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Impact, grant
Yeah,
impact.
grant impact. I like that. Okay. All right. So yeah, so we'll do that as well. So yeah, so you and Chat GPT are going to take
Yeah.
care of that. Okay.
So that can be either for
You
May
think I'm
or
joking?
June.
It's either Claude or Grok, whatever.
Claude is
All
the
right,
best.
Claude's really good if you haven't tried Claude. Laura, we're gonna move on because we have about 10 minutes, and I want to make sure I'm respectful of everyone's time. Planning report and community development EDC updates.
Sure. So just on planning, all Jenny asked me to report was the results from town meeting. So we had, I think, 3 or 4 different articles that we were kind of discussing. Specialized stretch code passed. Downtown zoning passed. Billboards did not pass, or the billboard did not pass. And then one that we didn't really discuss, but I'll bring it up here, is one of the properties at One Research. The property owner had asked to change zoning, do spot zoning, and the town did not pass that.
Thank you. Do you want to move on to the committee report?
Yeah, as soon as I can find it.
Maybe it's under your report, Lara, but also the downtown improvement session is on
Oh, yeah.
April 15th.
Yes.
Sorry, I did not, and she forgot to update me. So
Yeah. so
that
April
is
15th.
April 15th,
Yes.
Yep.
6:30
6 or 6:30, I forget the exact time.
in the Great Hall.
Yeah.
It'll be an update from Kimley Horn, and discussion. I guess I'm not sure how
Open
meeting is going to
forum.
be.
Yeah. Just public, we want to hear from the public on
It is
The
at
downtown
6
plan.
6
6
p.m.
6
at the Forbes Municipal Building, Great Hall.
Okay, so here's my, just real quickly, so branding and wayfinding grant progress, and I am going to also tell you about the MOBD day and new business announcements. So branding and wayfinding, the IFB, I honestly don't know what that stands for, but it's in the bid net. It's properly been put out for bid. And they're due the end of this week. I will be reviewing them. I guess the lowest bid wins and we award it. And hopefully get work done ASAP to have it done by June 30th.
And that's the signage and getting all the signage.
Yes, that's so yeah, sorry.
Just for the public. So.
Yes, for the public. So it's it's sign fabrication and installation.
Okay.
The select board approved some locations, and we're looking at those particular locations.
Okay.
Our road tour with MOBD was a success. We had a great day. Fred drove the bus. Thank you, Fred. We
Laura,
visited.
can you make that a slideshow? Can you just make it the slideshow?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I forgot that you guys were looking at it.
Thank you.
We visited 4 businesses. We were at Estellas, Grimes and Company, Rax, and Coughlin and Company, and we had lunch with a new property owner at 116 Flanders. A variety of information was discussed. We had potentially some new expansion projects, workforce development, potential equipment grants. And so there's a little bit of updates or follow-ups to be done. We had some really great presentations by the businesses. They put a lot of thought into it. Their facilities were amazing. Their workforce was great. And I just speaking for myself, I thought it was just a really great day. I was on the moon.
I didn't know. I only came for the last meeting because I was busy in the morning. But from seeing the presentation, the businesses were very appreciative of just having the time to spend with MOBD as well as for us. And I was like, is this going to be a sales pitch for MOBD? But it really wasn't. It was more informational for us. So what's going on in the businesses, what's going on with their workforce. So, again, kudos to you for putting that together and just getting everything scheduled. So, and Fred for not crashing the bus was great. Yeah,
That was great.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good plus. But it was really, I thought
everybody.
the energy when I came in at lunchtime, the energy was really, really high. So,
It was a really great day. Thank you, Laura. I thought it was, I hope we can do more of it in the future. Like it was really, really
Yeah.
good.
I was exhausted, but it was
and no one knew what to
great.
expect. It was kind of like one of those new things. Like, what are we doing? And it was very, very, very.
Well, I
well done.
had the method
know
of
you
my
did.
madness was here.
Fred.
Well, so it was good to have, it was a value added to the companies. That's one of the things we always stress when we visit companies from the EDC is that why are you here and why are you taking up our time? But with the state involvement, there was a lot of programs they suggested to the different business
Yep.
that they could take advantage of, which we couldn't offer as the EDC, but it was good to support both ends.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It was so I could actually see us doing that again in another year or so with different businesses.
And I think it also opens up our roundtable discussion with some of these businesses. So being able to kind of be in front and now, okay, now to kind of follow up on that, so I thought it was good.
What was the, congratulations, great job. Sorry I wasn't able to attend. The business on 116, who was that? This is lunch was-
That's AFSME.
AF.
It's Ask Me. It's they represent municipal unions, but they're moving their headquarters to Westborough.
Right.
Okay.
They were stationed out of Boston previously, or still are actually, I guess.
Thank you.
So great. Yeah, thank you everyone for helping and contributing and coming along. I know it was, especially right after town meeting. So to have them spend the day out of the office. So great. Just quick update on next week. Next Tuesday is the expo. We're all set. Mike's going to help me set up. Pete Allen will be there, our ambassador, from 4 to 5. Jenny Gingras will be there from 5 to 6. Tom Dolan, another ambassador, and Scott Rayleigh will help from 6 to 7, and then I'll break it down and call it a day.
Where is the booth?
I have no idea.
They
I don't
assign
know
once
if we
you
know
get-
until that we get there.
No, you can find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping we'll be near you, and
Yeah,
we
that'd
can
Yeah. And
tag team if
I have a booth-
possible.
I have a booth too, so, and I've got someone coming, so if I can
Yeah.
pop over, I'll do that as well.
Absolutely. That's great. And so here are some stats. We have 2 new businesses. They both happen to be dog related. So we're building a cluster here. Westborough Dog Walkers at 18 West Main Street. What they're doing there as a storefront, they'll have an opportunity for the public to come in and see who they are. They won't have any dogs there. There's a small little retail spot for collars. And the dog walking company has been in Westborough for years. So they're doing that. And they also thought it was a good way for their dog walkers to also have a place to come, grab a bite to eat or use the restroom or something. And then Star Dog Groomers going in at the former LCK
Okay.
location. They are groomers. So we'll have 2 groomers in town. So they'll be opening up the next few weeks.
That's a good business to go in there. So it's a destination, you go there. So that's a great business to go in that location.
We also, we did give some building permits to iSmash. So one of those
that a rage room?
entertainment.
Is that a rage room?
Yeah, yeah. At 276 Turnpike, and then a food joint called Pliables. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. At 290, there was a tenant fit out at 1900 West Park Drive, and then 200 Freiburg Parkway, Eastern Dentist Insurance Company. And then there was a building purchase, 62 Hopkinton. Did I spell that right? Yeah, I think so. Hopkinton Road. RoboSource LLC. They're moving, or they are in Worcester, and I don't know. I haven't spoken to the business owner, although I did send him a package, because they're not open yet. So I sent him a package. Welcome to Westborough. Just perhaps be able to learn whether. I think it's going to be a warehouse because it's previously been a warehouse. I was optimistic it was going to be more manufacturing or assembly, but I think what he does is, like, if I build robots, if I'm part of a STEM team at high school or something, I could buy parts to build my robot. So he provides all of those parts.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So it's an expansion because I think his only I shouldn't say he. I wrote the note to the male person, so I think that's who owns it. But there is, if you look on their website, there is a location in Worcester. So I guess, but again, I don't know much. I just know it's a building purchase. That's all I know right now.
Great. Thank you.
Do we have any more information on the tenant fit out at 1900?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay. And the Eastern Dentist, I believe they're already here, but it sounds like they're doing some work.
They just, that was just a building permit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Great.
And that's the end of my report.
Awesome. All right. Any new business from anybody?
Just a follow-up item. So I did reach out to the ambassadors, and we're just trying to find a time to get together to get their thoughts on what's working, what's not working, and love the idea also of maybe some follow-up around the grant program
Yeah.
and involving them. So
Awesome. Great. Fantastic. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of our April, whatever date it is, April 7th meeting of the Westborough Economic Development Committee. It was a pleasure spending my morning with all of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. See you guys next month.
all right.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
All in favor? All in favor.
Flavor.
Flavor, aye.
All right,
Have a good day,
everybody.
everybody.
I missed it. Who you seconded? Who did it? Okay.
We